Today's topic, arrays in JavaScript, a really powerful concept and a really important topic to understand. And because arrays are so important and so heavily used, I think they deserve 2 or 3 videos at least. In today's lesson, I will provide a brief introduction and I will use an array in this application that we are recreating. And the next 1 or 2 lessons will be dedicated to describe the arrays in details. This is 39th lesson of the series and 9th lesson on the addition script. We are learning JavaScript and we are learning JavaScript by examples. Stay with me and I'll teach you JavaScript. In this lesson, I want to add a functionality which is not available on this actual commercially available application, in that I want to display the first result. I want to display the result in this input box automatically for students as an example. So this is what we have done so far. So without further ado, let's open the application in the text editor. I will resize the browser and this is what we have done so far. So to make it look similar to the application, I will increase the number of questions to 50, and if I maximize it, if I refresh it, you have 50 questions, which is a bit similar to what is available on this website. Okay, not exactly the same number of questions, but very similar. So I'll change the size of the browser one more time, and to display an answer, we will have to save an answer in a variable, and I actually want to save all the answers on this script. So traditionally we have learned about variables. If I want to save an answer in a variable, I will call the variable ans, and the answer to the first question is 5. Okay, and if I want to save the second answer, the answer to the second question is 2, and if I want to save the third answer to the third question is 6. Now I hope you can see a problem here. There are 50 questions. What it means that if I try to save all the answers in different variables, I'll have to create 50 variables or more in some cases. Okay, now if I want to save more than one value in one variable, say for example, if I want to save a value of 5 and 2 in one variable, this is simply not allowed. So if I save it and refresh it, it will break the script, and if I press F12, you can see there is an error. To fix this, we create arrays. Okay, I'll use a square bracket at the beginning and I will use a square bracket at the end. We essentially have created an array with this name. So if I say console.log and type in the name of the array, if I save it and refresh it, it will make the script work one more time. And of course, if I click on this arrow, we have an array of 2 values, and of course it is an array and the length of the array is 2. Okay, so we are saving multiple values in one variable and we can reference them in future, and I can use as many values as I want to save in this array. So if I save it one more time, refresh it, I have an array of 5. I have an array again, and the length of the array is 5, and these are index positions. Similar to an object, arrays are also data structures. So at index 0 we have a value of 5, at index 1 we have a value of 2, at index 3 we have a value of 5, and at index 4 we have a value of 9. Okay, so we don't need this. Let's use an appropriate name for this array. I will call it ARR just to represent array. If I save it, the console log should also say ARR. Okay, and I will cut this and I will paste this after the loop that we created earlier. Okay, and we can also create an array with no values in it. So if I save it and if I refresh it, we have an array of 0 length. It is indeed an array. So we can use this array to save the answers of all these 50 questions. All right, so let me show you how to do that. So we are already saving answers. Okay, so we are already saving answers. If I say console.log and answer, it will show all 50 answers. If I save it, refresh it, we can see that we have all these 50 answers, and we can simply use this array that we have just created. ARR is the name of the array, and there's a method called push that can be used with arrays. And I will remove this and I'll type in the name of this variable, answer. What we are simply doing, we are pushing all these values into this array. So if I save it and if I refresh it, we have an array of 50 values. We starting from index 0. Notice that the answer to the first question is 5, which is saved at index 0. Answer to this one is 3, which is saved at index of 1. Answer to the next question is 7, and the one after is also 7, and the one after is 3, and so on and so forth. So we have an array that has a length of 50. So 50 values are saved, 50 answers are saved in this array. So initially we created an array, an empty array with no values in it, and then we used this push method to push the values of this variable into this array. Now we have all the answers saved in this array. I can use this array to show the answer in the first input field. Okay, and I will use document.querySelector method. I will copy this and I will paste this here again, and this time I want to change the value of this first input field. So I will say value is equal to, and I will say ARR, which is the name of the array, angle bracket one more time, and whatever the value is available at this position. Okay, and notice that this answer is changing every single time that we refresh the script. So if I save it and refresh it, the answer to this question has changed. So the value of the answer has also changed in this array, and the answer has been provided in the first input field. We also want to disable this input element so people cannot type anything in it after the answer has been provided. So I will copy this and I will paste this one more time, and I will say disable true. So what is gonna happen, that the script will look for the first input element that has this attribute, a tab index value of 0, and then this value will be replaced with the value that is available in this array at index 0, and after that this input field will also get disabled. So let's try that. Save it, refresh it. Of course there is an answer and the input field has become disabled. Nobody can type in, and no matter how many times you refresh it, the questions are changing and the answers are also changing. If I type in an answer in this input field, you will notice that there is a tick mark which is not available here, and we can fix that as well. So I can apply this class. If I copy this and if I paste this here, and I will say class list.add, and the class that we want to add is this CS, is this tick CSS class that we created earlier. Copy and paste here. So if I save it, let me maximize it, refresh it, you can see that there is an answer, and then the tick mark is also available, and the input field has become disabled. In next lesson, I will show you how to bring the cursor into this input field, and if I click into in this input field, there is a cursor in there, and I can type in an answer, but when I press enter, the cursor does not move into the next field. So in the next lesson, I will show you how to fix that. So that is it for today. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you learned something today, and I will see you in the next lesson. Thank you. Bye.